StraighTAllDay.com.
Tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What is that? That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, we're getting on to part 4 of 4. The topic is keys to productivity. You want to be a more productive person. You want to get more done on a more consistent basis. I'm telling you exactly what to do and how to do it. Before we get into this, tell everybody that I send out a text message every single morning. This text message is guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day. You want to receive this message. So here's what you got to do to get it. I call it the daily motivation. To get this text, all you have to do is join my texting community. It's completely free. All you got to do to join is text me at my number, 305-384-6894. Every morning when that message comes out, you as a member of my text community shall receive the text. So just send a text to that number right there. Just say, hey, Dre, send me the daily motivation. You'll be getting that message every single day for free. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. This is the place where a lot of people ask me, Dre, do you offer any kind of coaching? Is there any way I can work with you directly? What's the next step that I take? I'm listening to your podcast. I like the show. I get the daily motivation text. I like those. What's the next step, Dre? What's the next thing that I do to go deeper into your world? Here's what you do. You join Work on Your Game University. How do you join the university? Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. We make this so easy. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That is how you take the next step to work with me directly. You will get to work with me directly. You will get to be coached by me. You'll be able to get on calls with me, ask me questions, get them answered by me. I'll replace some of the questions that you have with even better questions that will help you get to your outcomes faster and get triple the results in half the time. All of that happens as a member of Work on Your Game University for you. And we're talking mindset, strategy, systems, execution for your business and for your personal life. You can apply this stuff personally and professionally. All of that happens when you become a member of the university. Again, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Now, with that out of the way, we're going to pick it up right where we left off, which is part 4 of 4. Again, the topic here today is keys to productivity. We already went through the first 9 points. Now we're going to do point number 10 is where we're starting here today. Number 10, self-improvement. Now, what does self-improvement have to do with productivity, you may be asking? It's a good question. Here's a good answer. The better you get at what you do, the easier it will be to produce more of it and to produce it at a higher level and to produce it more efficiently. Would you agree? Let's say you are an author. Let's say you're a podcaster. Let's just keep it on that. Now, let's say you have a podcast. If you get better at podcasting, meaning you get better at speaking, you get better at making your points, you get better at communicating what you're trying to say, you get better at fleshing out the point that you want to make, you get better at making your argument, you get better at asking questions of your guests, you get better at everything else that goes into whatever you do in your podcast. Would you agree that the better you get at it, it becomes easier to produce more episodes? You'll be able to do it at a higher level, meaning you're giving more value to your audience, and you'll be able to do it all more efficiently, which means in the time it used to take you to record 2 episodes, you might be able to record 3. Whereas before you were putting out 1 episode a week, now you can do 2, 3, and 4 episodes a week simply because you got better at podcasting. Why? Because you improved yourself. You worked on your game. This is why you got to be a member of Work on Your Game University. You see how all this stuff is interconnected. So if I get better at recording videos, I can probably produce more videos. I can do it faster, more easily than if I did not improve my skill in that area. If I get better at writing, I can write more articles, more books, get them done faster. Now you might be asking, well, Dre, why does it matter to do things faster and more efficiently? Why is that important? The answer is because your time is limited. All right, one day you will be gone. One day you will die. You will turn to dust, and I don't even know what it is. The ants are just going to eat your flesh and eat your bones if you weren't already cremated by your family. So whatever the situation is, one day it's going to be over. All right, everybody got what I'm saying? So this is why time is of the essence. So even if you're a person who doesn't put a ton of emphasis on how you use your time, I would suggest you become a person who puts a ton of emphasis on how you use your time. Why? Because your time is limited and your time is thus valuable. Things that are limited are valuable because they are scarce. Your time is scarce. You may not feel like it's scarce right now because you're 37 and you feel healthy and you're in the best shape of your life and you're like, I got another 40, 50 years to live, Dre. Why I got to worry about time? Well, your time is limited. All right? That time is going to end. And there are people who have died before they got to the number that you're at right now. And who guaranteed you that you were going to make another 50 years? If you got a guarantee from somebody, I would love to see the contract. This is why the time matters. This is why you need to be urgent about how you're getting things done. This is why being more efficient and getting better at what you do in order to produce more in a shorter period of time does matter, because your time's not unlimited. So getting more done in less time should be an imperative and a non-negotiable in your life. Time is of the essence, as it is your most valuable resource, because it is the one that cannot be replaced or replenished. Point number 11. Today's topic again, we're on part 4 of 4 keys to productivity. Number 11, goals and appreciation. Yes, appreciation is part of productivity. Being clear as to what outcomes you wish to achieve, that's also known as a goal. And then appreciating yourself, even if it's just a self-conversation, just say having a kind self-conversation just with you, just letting yourself know, hey, I said I was going to do this, I did it. If not doing more than that, you could do more than that if you want. But these are valuable ways to increase your productivity. First of all, you got to be clear on what you want. What is it? What is the outcome that I wish to achieve here? How do I know that I got this done? How do I know that I did what I said I was going to do? Simple way to do this, folks, is to write down what needs to get done. And then all you have to do is look at it and say, okay, did I do these things? Yes or no? And then you work on them until they're done. When the first thing's done, move on to the next thing. When that's done, move on to the next thing, so forth and so on. That's also known as goals. You need to set goals. You can't score without a goal. Then once you hit your goals, as you achieve things, you need to recognize yourself for the things that you did. If you have read my book called The Mental Workbook, which you can get at workonmygame.com/workbook, or if you go through the sales funnel for the 3rd day or for the Mirror of Motivation, I will offer you the Mental Workbook as part of the Super Duper Bundle, Mental Game Super Duper Bundle, which includes Bulletproof Mindset, 30 Days of Discipline, and the hardcover copy of Work on Your Game. In the Mental Workbook, I lay out how you do your daily journaling. And yes, daily journaling. This is something that I do. This is something that anyone who's read the Mental Workbook is doing, because I teach you exactly how to do it and why to do it inside of that book. But in there, you can write down the things you got done that day. So if you have 7 goals written down and you knock down all 7, each one of those 7 can be an item that you put in your daily journal. Hey, I took care of this. I handled this. I made this phone call. I changed this address. I went and got this credit card issue handled. I paid this bill. Whatever the things were that you had on your list that you need to get taken care of, you took care of them. And you can appreciate yourself simply by recognizing that you set a goal to do something and you did it. Simple as that. It doesn't have to be, again, you don't have to throw yourself a party. But you can say, I set this goal to get this done at the beginning of the day, or better yet, the day before you wrote this down. And then I went through the day and I actually did it. I did something that I told myself I was going to do. You know what that does when you recognize yourself for doing something you told yourself you wanted to do? It builds trust. You build trust with yourself because you told yourself you would do it and then you went and did it. Whereas if you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't do it, well, you hurt your trust. So this is like if you are familiar with Stephen Covey. He's the author of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and they extended that brand. He has a bunch of other books that go along that same line. But one of the things that I believe it was his book that talked about this, he talked about the bank account, the relationship bank account. And he talked about it mostly, from my memory, he was talking about your relationship with other people, your bank account with them. But I'm talking about the relationship bank account you have with yourself. Every time you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't do it, you don't follow through on your own word, what you did is make a withdrawal from your own personal bank account with yourself. In other words, you have less money in the account now than you had before the day began, when the day began, simply because you took away from the relationship that you have with yourself, because you told yourself you would do something, you didn't do it. You didn't follow through on your own word. That's a withdrawal from the account. But every time you tell yourself you're going to do something and you do it, what you did is you made a deposit into your relationship bank account. You made the bank account stronger simply because you said you would do something and you simply followed through and you executed on what you said you would do. The more times you do that, the stronger the bank account becomes, the more money it has in it, and it continues to accrue interest, assuming you got it in something that actually produces some real interest, unlike usual bank accounts. But I digress. As long as you're doing that, you're always adding to your personal bank account with yourself. That's what the appreciation part is about. Just recognizing that you did it by hitting the goal. So the goals and appreciation go together. It's going to be hard to give yourself appreciation if you're not actually hitting your goals. So you got to give yourself appreciation for something that you actually accomplished, folks. All right, so don't give yourself appreciation for accomplishing nothing. Actually do something. Hold yourself accountable to actually do what you said you're going to do, hit your goals, and then appreciate yourself for that. Don't be appreciating yourself for doing absolutely nothing. All right, so that's what goals and appreciation means. It's a valuable way when you have that self-conversation about, hey, I said I would do this, I did it. It's a valuable way to increase your productivity. You are encouraging yourself. And understanding encouragement is reserved for people who are actually doing something that is worthy of encouragement. Now, you don't get encouragement just for a living. You don't get encouragement just for being alive. You get encouragement for actually doing something, okay? All human beings appreciate praise and recognition for their achievements, even if we are given the praise and recognition to ourselves, all right? Even if nobody else knows about it, it still matters. Because that relationship we have with ourselves matters. Can we agree? You cannot know when you are worthy of praise and appreciation, however, unless you have clear goals that you know you have actually reached. I set this goal, I hit this goal, let me appreciate myself for that. That's how it works. 3 steps. I set this goal, I hit the goal, I appreciate myself for it. You must do all 3 steps. All right, you can't hit a goal that you never set. All right, so you got to make sure the goal was clear. This is why you got to do your homework, folks. Episode 1925. Do not just praise and appreciate yourself for achieving unclear outcomes. That does not count. And don't set outcomes and then not do it, then appreciate yourself for trying or thinking about it. No, that's bullshit. Don't do that. Set the goal, hit the goal, appreciate yourself. 1, 2, 3. Because if you're appreciating yourself for things you didn't do, what you're doing is codifying mediocrity. You're basically making it normal to be mediocre. Setting a goal and not doing it, then appreciating yourself for it, you're reinforcing something that you don't want. Instead, set the goal, hit it, and then appreciate yourself. In that order, and you must follow all 3 steps. The more you do this, the more productive you will be. And number 12, we are talking here today, we're on part 4 of 4 keys to productivity. Number 4, productivity tools and technology. I want you to understand that when we talk about productivity, we talked about this a little bit when I talked about delegating and outsourcing, and I believe that was in part 3. But productivity tools and technology is about what can you employ that will allow you or help you be more productive. See, understand that productivity does not just mean you being this superhuman machine that just does everything on your own as hard and as fast as you possibly can. Yes, you will be, of course, you want to use your talents as much as you can and make sure you're not wasting your time or kind of half-assing the process. You don't want to be coasting through the process. You want to actually go hard through the process. At the same time, you want to have the tools that allow you to do it at a high level. I think about, when talking about this, I think about when I see people riding bicycles out here in South Florida. And some people get in competitions with the bicycles. It's actually more popular than people running out here. There's a lot of triathlons here in South Florida. Triathlon is just 3 activities. It's a swim, a run, and a cycle. And there's a ton of cyclists down here in South Florida, and these people have these expensive bikes. These are not the little cheap bikes, like the kind of bikes that I've bought in the past that cost maybe $1,000 at the most. These are people who have bikes that cost like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Then they got the shoes, they got the outfits, they got the helmets, and they customize the bike. And these people put $10,000 into these cycles, these bicycles that they ride. And I always think about when people get into the races, the triathlons and stuff. I never liked the idea of getting into those races simply because we're not all competing on a level playing field. Now, when it comes to swimming, we're all doing the same thing because we all got to use our bodies to swim. And when it comes to running, we're all doing the same thing because we got to use our bodies to run. But when we get on that cycle, you on that bike, it's different because we all got different bikes. What if your bike is what if you got a $5,000 bike and I got a $800 bike? I could be a better athlete than you, but you might end up beating me in a race simply because your bike is faster than mine. You just got better quality tools than I have, right? So that's why I never liked the concept of racing on bicycles, because everybody has different tools. So what are we really measuring here? Are we measuring how good of a cyclist you are? Or are we measuring how good of a bike you bought? I don't know. It's something that I always thought about. So anybody who's in that world, you let me know what you think about that. That makes sense if you ever consider that. That's why I like running. Because running, there's no equipment. It's just what you do. Now, we can all have different shoes on, but assuming we all got a pair of sneakers. Sneakers don't make you run faster. But the key there is the body. So in basketball, same thing. Like, what are the tools that we're all using? So what's the sport that people use tools? Think of something like golf, even car racing. Car racing, I mean, everybody talks about it though. They put it all out on the table. Look, my car is better than this car. We got better technology than this car. They put it all out on the table that the car does make a big difference. Yes, the driver matters, but the car matters. In cycling, I never hear people talk about how this person's bike better than another person's bike. I don't hear that often. I don't know why. Again, anybody who's in that world, you let me know. I'm not in the cycling world at all. Golfing is another example. If you have some cheap bargain basement golf clubs and the person you're golfing against or with, they have like some high tech, the most expensive, best stuff, you may be a better golfer than this person if y'all are using the same equipment, but with them using the better stuff than you're using, they might be kicking your ass in golf, not because they're good, it's simply because they got better equipment than you. It's the same thing when it comes to productivity. The tools and the technology that you use will affect how productive you can actually be. So what are you using? Understand that technology, everyone, does not necessarily mean computers and coding and some kind of electronic gadget. That's not even what technology means. Technology is defined as the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. Let me say that again. The definition of technology is the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. It has nothing to do with electronics. You don't have to technology can simply be information and ideas that you didn't know yesterday. Now you know them. That is technology by definition. Many of you have heard about or even actively using things like artificial intelligence software online these days, right? And what is that? It's a productivity tool. It's technology that allows you to get certain things done faster and more efficiently than you would get done just using your own brain power. For example, I use speech-to-text technology sometimes when I'm fleshing out my notes for episodes of this show. The reason I do that is not because I can't type, simply because it's faster for me to speak out my notes than it is for me to type out my notes. So I can just get more notes done faster. And what did I tell you? Time is of the essence because we are all on the clock. So as soon as I realized I could use text-to-speech to write out my notes, I started doing that instead of typing them with my own fingers because it's simply faster. It allows me to put notes together faster, which allows me to get to recording sooner, which allows me to put out more episodes and have more stuff in the can, so it buys me more time to not record if I decide to or circumstances call on me not to. For example, if I'm traveling or something like that. Sales funneling software is another example of technology. It allows you to upsell and sell the next thing to your customers much more efficiently than sending them email after their first purchase, hoping they'll go back to your website and buy the next thing. You get them to buy everything right there on the spot. So instead of me selling you one book when you go to thirddaybook.com to get your free copy of my book, The Third Day, I'm gonna offer you a bunch of different options. You could theoretically leave that funnel with 10 books. Why? Because I'm going to offer you 10 books. Now, you don't have to say yes to all of them, but I'm going to make the offer so that the opportunity is right there in front of you. The funneling software allows you to buy the next thing right there on the spot. That is a form of using tools and technology to make more sales in your business rather than just hoping that you'll be able to kind of muscle people back to come through your sales funnel. It's much easier to make all the sales right there on the spot and try to get them to come back. Those are examples, just examples of tools and technology. Again, when you understand the definition of words, it's much easier to understand how to use them. So the tools and technology that you're using, you got to ask yourself, what could help me be more productive at this thing that I'm doing? Anything you do today, ask yourself that question. What tool or tools or technology could help me be more productive at this thing that I'm doing right now? There's probably an answer. If you get a good answer, then you need to go find that tool or technology or start employing that tool or technology. You'll probably get a lot more done, a lot more faster, and a lot more efficiently. And why would you not want to do that? Unless you hate success. I think most of you want to be successful. So look for those things and start applying them in your business and employing them in your business. Let's recap today's class, which is topic is we're on part 3 of 3. We are talking keys to productivity. Number 10 rather. Part 4 of 4 is not part 3 of 3. Part 4 of 4. Point number 10: self-improvement. How does self-improvement apply to productivity? Because the better you get at something, the more efficiently you can do it. The better you'll do it. You'll probably want to do more of it simply because you got better at it. We usually like doing a whole lot of stuff that we're good at simply because we're good at it and we're getting a positive result. Number 11, goals and appreciation. When you have a clear goal, then you execute on it and get it done and you achieve it, then you need to give yourself recognition for it, but you must do all of those things. Don't be recognizing yourself for stuff that you didn't actually do. All right, don't be lazy out here. Number 12, productivity tools and technology. What are you using that can actually help you achieve your outcome a lot faster? Remember, technology is just the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. It has nothing to do with computers or coding or electronics. Technology, those are forms of technology, but technology itself has nothing to do with computers. Technology itself is just about applying knowledge to a process to achieve more outcomes on a practical level. So if you're using AI software, that's a tool. If you have better equipment than your opponent, that is a tool. All of these different things are tools. So you need to get the tools that allow you to produce at a higher level than what you're producing at now. That will help your productivity very quickly, very easily, and it'll look like you're superhuman when it's really just you applying superhuman, practical level, superhuman ideas. All that said, we went through the whole 4 parts here on keys to productivity. So now all you know how to be productive, here's what I want you to do. I want you to text me and let me know the best insight you got from this 4-part series, the best one that you're applying right now, how it has helped you. My number is 305-384-6894 every day. When the daily motivation text comes out, because you'll be a part of my text community from texting me there, you'll be getting that message free of charge. Secondly, work on your game university. So any of these productivity tools that I told you about, these keys that I told you about over the last 4 episodes, if any one of them, you know you need to apply it, you're just not sure how to apply it or when or where to apply it or how exactly it would fit for your specific personal situation, what I want you to do is come to workonyourgameuniversity.com. There you can schedule a call with me. You can also get access to all of our training materials inside the university. All you do is go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and you will get helped in actually applying this stuff to your life and into your business immediately. Just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.